was.
As a young boy, Psamy Inneh grew up in Benin City, Nigeria, the center of great culture and very famous for her woodworks. He was exposed to the art of furniture making, a passion he quickly cultivated and which set him on an entrepreneurial path.
My dad trained as a furniture maker in the early 70s, and then he came down from Delta State to Benin to set up his own company long before I was born. I grew up into a family of especially furniture makers. Two of his brothers were furniture makers, so it was what I grew up knowing, and a lot of my life was around factories and around where furniture was being made. So all the while the thought comes to mind, oh, probably want to drop a CV here or there, just for the fun of doing it or for the sake of doing it, you know, do a couple of interviews, but my focus has furniture and interiors.
A graduate of soil and environmental sciences turned carpenter, as he likes to pride himself, Psamy decries the dearth of vocational institutions in our society, which would be best suited for a child who displays artistic creativity.
I've always loved beautiful things, and I've always wanted to do something creative. But in Nigeria, there are not enough vocational training for artisans that lead up to degrees, actually. So if you're looking to write JAMB, write an exam to go into a tertiary institution, there's no degree awarding institution anywhere in the country that will give you PhD or master's degree in furniture making, you know. So I wanted to do something creative, artistic, and with design in mind. If there was any university offering furniture making, I would have gone for it, to be honest.
How were you able to start out this business, especially considering the fact that a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, you know, see funding as a major limitation to actually venturing out in business?
Every journey begins with a step. In this business, the first thing you need is skill. And if you have the skill that is marketable and your skill sells you, if I give you the raw material and then you go to a workshop or you go to the roadside and you're able to make something very, very beautiful, good quality, it would sell you more than funding. So if I make a bed to someone random and he likes it, there's a 90% chance that some other time, if he has a furnishing need, he would call me. And there's also a 90% chance that the product I've put in his house would sell me. So funding to me is not the main thing. It's the skill acquisition. Do you know what you're doing? Because I could give you all the funds and then your skill set is poor. And then you can't achieve what you intend to achieve with all the funding. Progressively, if you're looking to start, you don't need 2 million, you don't need 100 million. If you can get the basic tools, hammer, saw, your jack plane or your planer, you're good to go.
Andean Furniture was actually set up in the early 70s by his father, Mr. Andrew Inneh. But instead of working for his father after his educational sojourn abroad, Psamy exemplified tenacity in carving his own niche, starting from the very bottom.
It was tough at the start because it was breaking into a fresh market for me. A lot of people did not know me. A lot of people did not know what my products were like. So it was a painful process at the start, trying to build a client base from nothing. I went out to various project sites where building projects were going on, wait for hours to see a project manager or site supervisor, a civil engineer and architect to say, oh, this is what I do. I make furniture, I could make doors, frames and wardrobes and kitchen cabinets, this is what I do. And then you're lucky enough, someone listens to you and says, oh, can we see what you are capable of doing? And then, one person saw it, the next person saw it, and then it's been a gradual process of growth. We started with a few hand tools, and then we got a project where the project was able to finance the purchase of some machines. So we got a few table saw, a sewing machine, and then that's how I started small. One piece here, one piece there, and then after I finished, got a bigger project. The next one was bigger than the last one. The next one was bigger than the last one, and we're able to make that progressive rise, till we're able to get what we have now. I have never been one who doesn't fight. I've been a fighter. I've been dogged. I came back and I decided to take the bull by the horn, go to an unknown territory. I came to Abuja with nothing. Came with my bag from the UK, and then here am I today. If you're on the job and you're never passionate about it, you felt it was convenient for you to learn it because it was quick to learn and it was a means to make money, you can be frustrated on the job. So you have to intermarry your passion with what you are good at and what is sellable.
Psamy's branch of the furniture making company became operational in 2013.
Stereotype of Nigerians that locally made goods are inferior goods to imported ones. A lot of Nigerians are in that school of thought that, okay, when you're making it in Nigeria, it's not good enough. They call it a barmaid, they call it all sorts of names. But we have good stuff here that are locally made here, which are 100% indigenous, that are by far better than what you have abroad. And I'm not mincing words by saying that because I've lived abroad. For the human capital, we have it in abundance. Resources, we have it in abundance. So those are the challenges, because if you leave me, or if you leave my product to go purchase the one from China or Dubai or Italy, you're strengthening the economy of those countries. You're taking what we have here and you're taking out your naira in exchange for forex to get a product which you ship back to Nigeria to be consumed in Nigeria. Now, human capital for these businesses are dwindling by the day. A lot of youths are not interested in learning a trade or a vocation or equipping themselves. Everyone is waiting for a white-collar job. Everyone is waiting to work with the government. Everyone is waiting to commit some fraud, a quick way to success. Nobody wants to start from scratch and climb up the ladder. And I think over time, if we don't train the young ones, equip them for the future, we're going to run out of artisans and people who will get this job done in the future. Because if people are not trained to be furniture makers, people are not trained to be mechanics, people are not trained to be tailors, we'll have a shortfall on human capital for production for these needs in the future.
So this business of carpentry or furniture making has been stereotyped over the years, you know, as an area for the underprivileged, so to speak. But here you are breaking the norm. You know, what would you say about that?
I think it's an African stereotype because abroad, yeah, a lot of artisans earn way more than college graduates. You know, to pay a plumber or a mechanic will cost you much more than the guy who's working as a call center agent who has his degree in developed countries. You know, so it's back here that we feel, oh, this guy is either a mechanic, or you feel, oh, because he doesn't have a college degree, or he doesn't have basic or formal education, then he's a non-entity. But that's not true. I'm a graduate, I'm a master's degree holder, and I'm a very proud carpenter. And I think my friends are also proud of me and what I've achieved so far, what I'm about and what I do with this business. I take pride in what I do because there's no home anywhere in the world that doesn't need furniture, no matter how small it is, whether it's a shed, a gateman house, or a duplex or a mansion. You need furniture. You wouldn't sit in the air. You need a place to sit down. So the stereotype about, oh, carpenters are, oh, dirty people or poor people, it's not true. Number two, education can be formal and informal. So the guy who's learning a trade is going to school. He's only going to the school of furniture and interiors. Formal education is good because as you grow in the business, you're going to be meeting clients, you know, you're going to be meeting people who matter. You need to be able to write so people don't cheat you. You need to be able to prepare a quotation and say, oh, to make this bed is going to cost me X and X naira. To make this sofa will cost me X and X material. So you should be able to itemize stuff. You need some basic education. So I would not tell a youth not to go to school and embrace vocational studies just because he wants to learn a trade, you know. So if he doesn't have formal education, it's not the end of the world. He has a vocational skill to excel in life.
He is gradually growing a very thorough and practical vocational facility, offering intense training and equipping young and unskilled individuals with the craft of furniture making as his humble contribution to nation building.
We train for free. So if you have any young boy, I'm not saying it's limited to only males, or ladies who are interested, because we have the upholstery section which girls can easily fit into to sew and make, you know, things as small as throw pillows. You know, you can sell them and make money and be self-employed. Under our furniture production, there are three major sections. We have furniture making, which is pure woodwork. We have upholstery, which is making furniture with foam, fabric, and wood. And then we have the welding section, which is iron metal. So the three sections are interwoven to make the whole furniture production unit. For someone who's ready to learn, because you need to have passion, you need to be committed, you need to be serious about it. You don't just say you want to learn the business and you come to work on Monday, you don't come on Tuesday, you don't see you until next week. For serious-minded people who start, let's say in January, by June, in 6 months, you should be able to tell your left from right in the business. And by a year, 6 months, you should be able to be producing pieces of furniture on your own, you know, with little or no supervision. And in 2 years, you should be able to have people work under you and report to you on how to produce furniture.
The proud carpenter, who has piloted the affairs of his company in the past 3 years, shares a few more salient principles for business success.
Your passion has to be sellable. You need to like what you do, and what you do has to be appreciated by someone else on the outside. You know, you might be passionate about singing, but you sing poorly. And if you sing poorly, even if you're passionate about it, nobody will buy your music. If you're not good at what you're passionate about, don't do it. I don't think about money when it comes to this business because it's what I love to do. You know, so if you're on the job and you're never passionate about it, you felt it was convenient for you to learn it because it was quick to learn and it was a means to make money, you can be frustrated on the job. You know, so you have to intermarry your passion with what you're good at and what is sellable. Being prompt is very, very key. I've learned on the business that part of what I do and what I've learned on the job. You know when to cross your T's, you know when to dot the I's, you know when to make a crooked line straight, you know when to sandpaper a rough edge, you know when to scrape it, you know when to spray it, you know. So those little things are what forms the product that is desirable and will make demand high. If you do something and you're good at it, give it 100%. Don't cut corners. Don't water down quality because of profit. We have a long journey to go as entrepreneurs. The road is still very far. We haven't reached our targets yet, and you don't want to start faltering at these infantile stages. You know, so as you grow, you keep improving one day at a time, and then the sky will be your limit. There's a saturation in the market for labor, and sometimes employment takes forever. And the longer you keep waiting and sitting down, the more idle you get, the more susceptible you are to crime. I'm about to start the process of producing a side stool, a small side stool that can be used in the living room. First of all, there is a design already we have in mind. We have to mark the board, which we use for the top of the side stool. This marking process is for us to know the exact measurement for the stool we're making. So
The company has graduated over 15 enterprising students since its inception and has a workforce of about 20 to 40 members, depending on the scale of production on any given day.
Psamy has been very good. He worked with everybody equally. It doesn't assume too much L to himself. It's always good to work with young people. He encourage you, he give you the mind to do more. It's only a blind man that cannot see what is happening right away. You know, we need to be self-employed and be an employer of labor too, because when we started this place, we were very few, but by the grace of God today, we are in numbers. So that is the best way this country can go now. This is a job you can do, you have a rest of mind, self-employed. You are not afraid someone is going to tell you stop work tomorrow. You can generate wealth. You are no longer depending on somebody.
Through him, at least have learned more, because in any place I go today, and I believe I will not be panic of anything concerning anything have to do with furniture work. And if I go out there, I do, advise the younger one. It's not only educational background. If you really want to do this very job, the way you want it, even during holiday time, they can come over and do like maybe part-time or something like that. But by the time you achieve it, it's going to make you to go find your life.
Psamy is a jolly good fellow who is loving the life of an entrepreneur and encourages more youths to make the ultimate life-changing decision, even as he talks about the future of his business.
There's a saturation in the market for labor, and sometimes employment takes forever. And the longer you keep waiting and sitting down, the more idle you get, the more susceptible you are to crime. So for you to sit down and wait for manna to fall from heaven, it might never fall. I love the fact that I own my time. I work for me, and I work when I want to work, and I play when I want to play. It gives me joy to see that I'm able to employ labor and be a source of succor to people who need help. Those are the things that give me satisfaction and then hope for the future of the youth, that if I continue in this path and each year I'm able to empower 10 to 20 youths, in 10 years I would have been able to empower 200 youths to become self-employed and become possible employers of labor. So if I look down the chain, I should be having grandchildren, great-grandchildren in another 10 years down the line around furniture production. I want Nigeria to Africa and Europe in the future.
Finally, what are your parting words for that young Nigerian who is getting inspired right now to start his or her own business?
My word to every young intending entrepreneur in Nigeria is to have passion for what they intend to achieve, to be focused, and then have a proper skill set that is sellable. And then once your product is good enough, it will sell itself and market you beyond your horizon.